So we're live, you say? Okay. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our August 19th commission meeting. We will have an invocation, moment of reflection by Commissioner Fackrell and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our dear Heavenly Father, this afternoon we're grateful for this wonderful day and for the opportunity which we have to be here as a public and as servants to serve the residents of this county and those associated with this county. We're grateful for the people that live within the boundaries of this county. We're grateful that they are willing to do the things that they do to help make our county a better place. Grateful for the opportunity which we've been given by the state of Utah to be able to function as a local government and to be able to do those things necessary for each one of us. We pray for those that are in mourning at this time, that thy spirit will be with them, that they will be able to understand problems in the world. We may be all able to help in achieving and being able to take care of those problems. We pray for guidance as we make decisions this night, and that thy spirit will be with us, and that we will make those decisions that are beneficial for the betterment of our community. We thank thee for all that thou hast done for us. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we have a huge consent agenda. Does anybody have any problems with the consent agenda?
Yes, I have a request to put on the action agenda number 13.
13? Okay. Anybody? You need to make a motion on that? I can't remember. No. Okay. Everybody good with moving number 13 to the action item?
Yep.
Do you want to just move that to, where would be best to move that?
That's number 1.
Just move it right to number 1? Okay. Okay. So I'll look for a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda as listed, accepting item 13 that will be moved to the action items.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, do we have any conflicts of interest that need to be declared? Okay, seeing none. We will open this time for public comment. Please, if you have public comment, keep it to 3 minutes. State your name. Seeing none, we will close the public comment. We have no presentations this evening. Well, we're cruising right through this. I'm liking it. Good job. Okay, so we will take for action item number 1 will be the acknowledgement of the 2025 Cooperative Wildlife System Policy and Procedures Manual in compliance with Morgan County's agreement with CWS as outlined in Utah Administrative Code R652-1-200.
So just to clarify, this is just the manual that they sent us. The actual agreement is on next commission's agenda because they just sent it to me today.
Okay, because it says in here that it was an approval of the agreement.
No, it says acknowledgement of the
Because
policies and
I asked
procedures manual.
Boyd. I asked Boyd, and he says I wasn't even aware it was on the agenda.
That's
So, as long as it's that, then I'm okay with approving that then. Because
acknowledgement.
there were some questions I had within it that I think Boyd needed to be aware of, that it was being
Okay, so
done.
would you like me to put, since the agreement for this, the CWS agreement is on the September 2nd, would you like that as an action item rather than consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. and put the same policy and procedure manual in the packet?
I would.
Okay,
Yeah,
If that's the case, I don't think we need a motion on this, do we?
no, it's just an
no, if we
acknowledgement.
postpone, or yeah,
Just,
we don't even need to postpone it.
Okay.
I don't think, do we? It's an action item.
Action item is September 2nd meeting.
Okay.
September 2nd. Okay, so we will move to action item now, number 2. Blair Gardner, discussion decision on transfer and assumption of lease hangar. Did we get that all?
We did.
We did get everything
And
together?
it is
there?
corrected in the packet and is corrected in the digital documents. It's just, I think the confusion was Sean Beckstrom, his approval for his lease was last meeting and the wrong attachment. Like they were trying to attach that to this assumption instead of the original.
Oh, so the original, okay.
is now attached. Garrett has cleared it. And I talked to Joe today and he does have the original on file, so they're just needing this signed.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the transfer and assumption of lease hangar CC5.
I'll second it.
okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, number 2, the Honorable Sean Rose.
I am here to ask for approval to increase the record of survey filing fee from $20 to $30. Reasoning for this is it's never been increased here for Morgan County. The average fee for all counties, it ranges from $30 to $40. Going through counties our size, $30 is the average, and so increasing this, as I noted in the notes, this revenue goes straight to the PLSS here in Morgan County. So increasing this will go straight to increasing the inventory for the PLSS.
Can you explain PLSS?
So PLSS is the section corners here in Morgan County. It's what places the boundaries for the publics, for determining the property lines for each parcel. I've stated this multiple times talking with you guys. We need to take the PLSS, the section corners here in Morgan County, more seriously. And this is kind of the start of it, more to come. It's very lacking. Comes to the terms of inventory. And so this is, like I said, this is the start of it. More work is to come to help increase the numbers. Again, I'm just here to get approval to increase this.
So currently, it's $20 per sheet.
Yes.
You have no extra that's been put in this fund before from the $20, or is this a new fund that?
So this is actually, this fund's kind of convoluted. We get a grant from the state, about $28,000 a year, to protect our PLSS inventory. And then his office brings in currently around $1,200 a year. This would up this to about $1,700 a year. And all that money is spent on preservation of the section corners, correct? Okay.
Okay. Answered my question. Thanks.
Sounds like based on those numbers, it's not a tremendous number of documents that we record.
No, but we are, so when I started, January 1, we implemented being able to file the surveys online, and that has increased the number of record of surveys being filed, which is great. Any record of survey that's being done in the county, the surveyor has 90 days to file that. The numbers have been very low in the past, but now, having the option to do it online where they don't have to come in, it is increasing. So we are projecting much higher revenue in record of surveys for 26 than we have in the past.
Kate, correct me if I'm wrong, but on fee changes, don't we have to do a public hearing? Don't they have to go through the regular public hearing process like we do with budget amendments?
But we haven't approved the fee schedule, so I thought we'd discuss it and
Okay,
then.
so this would be to add it to the fee schedule, and then we do the public hearing on the whole schedule. Okay, gotcha. That's what I was just confirming.
So we're not gonna raise it right now then, it will be when we do
The fee schedule.
The fee approval to put it
which-
on the fee
So
schedule.
when are we planning on, because
Because that's part of the September 2nd discussion about when we do impact fees, if we're also going to do the fee schedule. And if we don't, then we need to affirm our existing fee schedule by resolution, so that'll all happen at the same time. Whether you guys affirm that or choose to go out for RFP for not just impact fees, but also a schedule of fees as well.
I thought we'd already done that, to go out for an RFP.
No, it was
We got
on the
some-
previous meeting's discussion, but it was postponed until I found out how long it was gonna take, so that it wasn't clashing with the general plan. And I'm still waiting back on, cause there's only two that do it, Zion's and LRB, and I'm still waiting to hear back from LRB.
We asked you to get a cost estimate.
A cost estimate and timeline.
Okay. All right.
I can make a motion. I move to accept the approval to increase the record of survey filing fee from $20 to $30 per sheet to be put on the fee schedule.
Motion by Commissioner Walker. Do I have a second?
Can we just amend that to say pending the update of the new fee schedule? Because we're not actually changing the fee yet. We have to do a public hearing to do it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll second the motion as amended.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Walker and a second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
While I have Recorder Rose up here, as you know, the commission has authorized funding for the Croydon Fire Station. That has triggered a bunch of questions as to land survey. And all of these surveys and legal descriptions tie back to the original survey of, is that the correct word, survey?
The town sites.
The town sites. Morgan County, like most counties, is missing most of theirs. So we are missing Croydon, Richville, Milton, Enterprise,
Peterson.
half of Morgan, and Peterson.
No, over there.
You can't, they won't search them for you. You have to go up there and actually do the documents yourself.
Doesn't like at the state?
At the federal.
Federal.
You have to go to DC.
Wow.
But obviously, we kind of need these.
Yeah.
So the discussion has been had on sending Sean up to DC to pull those records, but also to reach out to federal archives and see if there's contractors that will do that for fee work. But just letting you know that that's gonna be a fund request coming forward.
So have we talked with Blake Moore and his office or any of the senators about maybe finding one of their personnel to look for it for us?
No, it's a pretty convoluted, like.
I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're looking for. I wouldn't just send anybody, especially if I'm paying them by the hour.
Right.
But we were thinking probably about $2,000 to get our original records back. Like Cache County's missing the county incorporation document. Like, at least we have that. So,
Are there other documents that we need to be looking for as well in that, in the federal archives? We might as well make a comprehensive list if we're gonna do it, right?
the
for sure.
Croydon one we kind of need yesterday.
Yeah, we need that one ASAP.
For sure. So on the town sites, we've put in a lot of work trying to locate these. We've reached out to multiple surveyors that have surveyed within the county. We have reached out to the BLM. We've reached out to other archive buildings that may have something for these or have a resource to go to find these, and it's very, very low. The chances of finding them here is very low. Our next step would be going to DC to find them, and unfortunately, you have to go in person.
Really,
So-
they're not digitized.
They have some of their records digitized, but not all of them. And these are ones that are not, and you have to go in person to look for these.
So
Unfortunately,
even each state does not have their own archive of that, especially when we became a state a lot later than the federal government became one.
if they do, then they've told us that. I mean, they've told us that they haven't. They have no record of them. No record of them. And so, that's why we're looking at DC, because there is a high chance that they have them. They are nowhere to be found. There's record of them in recorded documents and surveys that people use them, but they're nowhere to be found.
So basically, that means that every one of these townships that we have, Richfield, Croydon, everywhere, not just in our county, but many other counties, they are all under the same boat, right? More or less.
Not necessarily. It depends on how the records were handled. Every county is going to be different. Like Weber County, they have most of theirs just because they've, either whether it was under the recorder or whether it was under the surveyor, they handled their records better, if you want to say that. Here in Morgan County, I think it's been handed to multiple different people, and we're talking the original copies, that they either got destroyed, lost, or set somewhere and never.
They're in somebody's basement somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
They
these
most
were
likely are.
1860s probably, right?
Most
We're
likely,
talking-
yes.
I go to Grandpa's house. And
They're
look through them.
150 years old.
Yes, very old. They could be in somebody's basement.
Or burned up in a fire, or who knows
burned,
what. I
yes.
mean,
Yes, but they are a key to fixing a lot of issues here in Morgan.
So the question I have for you on that is, with the other counties that might be affected by this also, do we need to go to the state and ask them for assistance, but for all of these counties to go back there and get our specific information?
I don't want to wait that long.
I think for the amount of money, that would be
Yeah, I think that would be.
not worth it. You're going to spend more than $2,000 chasing the state around trying to get it, trying to get them to do something in time and energy.
I didn't know if it within his recorder group, since we don't have a state recorder, it's all you guys within each county that are the ones that run the state basically with recording. So
So on top of that, I don't have I don't have access to other counties' records. To get information of what I'm looking for all the other counties would be a lot of work. And if this is something that we need now, then I don't think that would be an option to take the time to go to every county and get what they're looking for and then to go. I don't even know if working with other counties would be even an option, to be honest with you. You need to get the records to get.
I mean, if we find someone that does a contract for fee, we can always have you send it out to your recorder listserv of like, hey,
Absolutely.
we're doing this. If we might get it for a discount, I also don't want them to wait to compile 800 documents.
Absolutely.
And it cost me $100 cheaper, but it pushes me back 2 months on that court.
okay.
Right.
The longer we
Time
put
is
it off.
almost back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've reached out to.
$2,000, we're going to have construction costs that go over that because we delayed. That's
I have reached out to DC on contracting, and I haven't heard back yet. But I am waiting for a response to heard back. And we'll let you know.
I would suggest that I don't believe we're going to use all of our travel funds for the commission this year. I don't intend to go to anything this year that I'm going to spend travel funds on. unable to go to UAC this fall. And I think a few others are probably in the same boat. So there's going to be extra funds in that travel fund. I would suggest that we'd expend it out of your travel fund, obviously, but to make the budget whole, if we need to, we could transfer from the commission travel and training budget. That's my suggestion.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yeah, I can agree with it.
I mean, time is of the essence. Let's try
Right.
to figure it
Yeah.
out as soon as we can.
Maybe you can video the whole thing. It's like the new national treasure.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
People
cool.
come across some treasure.
Get enough YouTube
Get Nicolas Cage.
views to get paid back for it.
Right. We can do that.
All right, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay, the Honorable Janelle Walker.
Thank you, commissioners, for meeting me. We have had some changes in the assessor's office. One of my appraisers, Austin Richards, has actually decided to go to Salt Lake County, so he has already moved on. So I am planning to try to fill that appraiser position, but it will take a while to be able to find someone that has the credentials and making sure that they're licensed so that we can get the best value for where we're actually going with that one. But I have Danielle, that is my part-time employee. She has had an emphasis on the Greenbelt properties as well as working on short-term rentals. Danielle has shown an exceptional performance in the stuff that I have given her, and to be able to challenge her to do things that have helped our county as well. Going through the Greenbelt and the FAA regulations, we have been able to find not only being transparent, but also educating owners and leasees that are using the Greenbelt. We have been able to pull about a little over $500,000 this year in rollback taxes, which is almost triple the amount that we're usually about 100 to 150. So it's been great having her on staff and then being able to have her focus more on that, of finding people that maybe need to be more educated or need to be taken off of Greenbelt. So I'm asking for this shift that she has, this part-time position, to be able to be moved to full-time with benefits. And then it will also help utilize in our office just the exponential work that we just keep getting. And to be able to maybe use her in a better aspect as full-time. So with that, it will be about, to make her full-time for 40 hours, it would be me asking for about $5,200 for the rest of the year to make her position full-time. And then also, if my numbers are right,
It's on the screen.
okay, yeah, so about
That's for a full year.
that would be for the full year, and it's about 22,500 for the benefits is what I was looking at to fulfill the year. But that's the total amount, would be the 43,000 for the full year, which we're almost getting through that. But this will also just help us utilize our employees of where we have, and then also help me to be able to take time to make sure that we're getting a good appraiser that is up on the licensing, so that we always don't have to start with square one.
So you're eventually hiring a new appraiser.
We're going to keep that open just because it is essential that we have someone that has the licensing, that are accredited and that are licensed.
So, sorry, I did not put that in the packet, but the proration for the entire year, if this position for this year was made part-time to full-time, good grief, people, would be $15,259.54, because it wouldn't start till next pay period. So it would be $4,493.50 in salary and $10,766.04 in benefits, for a total of $15,259.54 additional for the rest of the year, if she were to start full-time at the beginning of next pay period.
So how much was that? 15,000 total? 15,000 what?
15,260.
260. And that's for the rest of the year, and that includes all the benefits,
Correct.
because your numbers here on the screen do not make
That's
sense.
for a whole year.
That's for the whole year.
Even for the whole year, that screen does not make sense. you've got only 12,000 in salary.
That'd be the
That-
increase from our
that's-
current salary.
Current
Okay,
We're not raising
that's
her
what I
raise.
was
When you're
questioning.
adding
Yeah, because she's
benefits,
already fulfilling part-time.
So
Okay.
Our part-time is 29 hours,
Okay.
so
I
it's
was
11
just-
more
I
hours.
just was looking at that and go,
Yeah.
okay.
The
that's
math's
about
not math.
Like, that doesn't
200%
compute.
Yeah.
increase on benefits, but not that on income. What's going on here?
So your individual that left, they're gone now.
They are.
I mean, depending on how long it takes to fill that position, the salary savings of that would cover this
This is true.
for the rest
Yep.
of this year
For the rest of
potentially.
this year.
And I think what our purpose is just making her full-time so that I have a good staff. I mean, that would put us to 5 people being full-time if we have it all filled.
But
So-
one, not my authority to give, but I told her I was not comfortable making someone full-time for
Mid-year.
part of a year if we weren't going to perpetuate that next year.
Or
That
going
seems
forward.
very unfair
Long-term
to them and a lot of paperwork.
Or making
for
it
us.
just a seasonal till we fill it. But I think she's capable of doing full-time and would do an excellent job. She would also be going on the path of becoming an appraiser, which, as you know, is a good 3 to 4 years down the road, but
Right.
starting somewhere.
Be great to keep our bench full, right?
Yep, and also I don't know if you remember, but that money that we have for the rollback taxes, we are able to utilize that in our county now. It was passed through legislation for the year of 2025, so we will be able to use those assets for our whole county, which is a great.
100% instead of 20. Correct.
Did they allow us to use any of that for operational costs?
No,
It's all
Just
for,
It's
Open
all
space.
for
Space.
open
yep,
space.
open space, and we have 10 years.
10 years.
10 years to use it before it goes into the fund. So it's a great opportunity in a lot of ways, which we are cleaning up the county. It's hard to be able to maintain them all. So,
Yeah, good job.
well, thank you.
And there has been discussion between Commissioner Nickerson and I of possibly bringing forth the possibility of also being an urban farm county, which would allow us to have essentially green belt, but for less than 5 acres. But that would have to be a commission decision, but that would also be put on
Yeah,
Danielle's plate.
and it's in a denser population,
Right.
smaller, less than 5 acres.
Just gives people an incentive to kind of keep some green space and have their
I
nice
will fight
gardens.
against it.
You will?
I will fight against it, and I'm one of those that use it and could use it and be grateful for it. But I will fight against it.
not
But
on the
at that point, I will give you the reasons why.
That's fine.
Okay?
No, we're always open to opinions. We all have one.
That is one I will fight.
All right. Any other questions for Janelle?
so I guess at this point, you're looking for approval for the position to go full-time, and then we deal with the budget at budget amendment time next meeting.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
Or next quarterly.
yeah, in next week, in 2 weeks. But anyway, what happens if we don't have the money for continuing that position next year?
Then I think we're negotiating, right?
Yeah, that's what you gotta figure out. And she either gotta find the funding elsewhere in her budget, or we have to cut the position back.
Okay, as long as we're all aware of that.
But it is
I
definitely
hope it does
something
not
that
happen.
would utilize, I mean, we do need the extra people. We have multiple hats that we are using right now, and we are trying to manage things that, I mean, we're getting heavy.
Yeah, I understand. I just hope that, well, I noticed the earlier agenda was asking for another full-time person. I'm just going, okay, those kinds of things need to come to us at budget time, but I understand the circumstance here, because if there's a potential that we can't afford it for next year, then that means, yeah, she gets full-time for now, but then next year she may not. And so I'm worried about that in all aspects.
Well, I think it definitely needs to be brought up that, there is that possibility,
Yeah.
that come budget time, things may be extremely tight, and who knows what we're going to see.
I'm just being,
Hey, I am very aware of where our assets are. Let's say that.
You
I
are.
know how much we have.
I do not anticipate it being that tight at budget time, but
okay.
based on historical information. But that doesn't mean that it couldn't, right? And
Yep,
it doesn't
and
mean
we
that there
are
won't
in-
be other needs. I mean,
We are in the appeal process right now, so,
Yeah.
in the BOE. And it's a little bit of a roller coaster, So
So how are you feeling? I mean, has there already been a new hiring process for the new appraiser? Okay.
yep, we will be working on it.
So we posted it, but because we were hoping, so this is why this time of year is when you lose and gain the most employees because everyone's switching school districts if they're moving. So we wanted to get it posted as soon as possible, just in case there was someone with those qualifications that it was moving into the area.
All right. Okay. Okay, I'll move to approve this, unless there's more questions. To modify this part-time administrative position to a full-time pending budget negotiations coming up. So that means it could be temporary or it could be permanent.
So for the year until December 31st.
That's right. Or until we're done with the budget.
Well, I don't know that you can do it based on when we're done with the budget.
Has to go to
Well,
the end.
You'd have to do it through the end.
But
of
I'm
the
not
year.
gonna raise taxes for an employee.
Well, that's not what
I know,
anybody's saying.
but I'm just telling you, it's not, that, I mean, I don't wanna see us get into the situation where we're stuck in a full-time employee and then next January we have to put somebody back to part-time. I just don't wanna do that, so
just to-
my motion is to allow them to do it now, but
Till the end of the year, right? Is that what you're saying?
potentially past the end of the year, but
Well, yeah,
But
potentially.
at least through the end
At
of the
least
year.
through the end of the year.
yes.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle.
And I appreciate
Eric, can you hear us?
trying to get all
Is
those
he there?
greenbelt violations.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, your item's up.
All right, so this is more of just a timing issue with the ARPA funds. Previously, I had indicated that probably wouldn't use all of that money that was set aside for the backlog of cases with the ARPA money. There has been an increase in the Justice Court cases this year where I think that could be used. And a little more background, 40,000 was set aside specifically for a code rewrite. But in speaking with Josh and the outpost who has just recently been hired to do the general plan, the code rewrite would occur after the general plan update so that there would be some direction on how to draft the codes. So that being said, since the ARPA funds need to be designated and spent this year, I'm requesting that 40,000 be transferred back to the attorney budget where it was before, and that half of it would go to non-departmental to cover the costs of a recent audit and forthcoming written report on that audit. So 20,000 to each place is the request so that it can be designated and used by the end of the year.
I have a question for you. No, actually, it's more for Kate. When did this become the end of 2025? It was 2026.
It has to be designated.
I thought it had to be designated by the end of 2024.
It was
And then we have to spend it by the end of 2026.
5. They changed it. That's why we had to do that final ARPA report in March.
I thought we already designated all of it and showed
that's
it
what
as
I thought.
spent, didn't we?
Well, that's because we had to do it by the end of 24. We had to say what the plan was, and we had to say this is where it's going to be spent.
And I had to do
And
the-
then we have 2 more years after that to spend it.
Changed it. They were doing a clawback. After Trump took office, they messed with ARPA big time, and they were doing a huge amount of clawback. So our final report was due March 31st of this year.
I should say, because I know in the tourism area, they have next year also. Because they have
Not
already
on-
allocated their monies for that for next year.
Not on this.
Either way, I don't know if it matters for this request because
It's still so how we
current
reported
funds.
this 40,000 was it was for attorney fees, whether it's
Right, it
spent
was.
in his department for attorney fees and another non-department on attorney fees, it was spent on attorney fees. if you guys approve
And
this.
I can
grant.
see us doing that as long as it's used for attorney fees. I notice every week we have our DocuSign that we have additional fees to outside attorneys. Can it be used for that?
Garrett?
And can we reclassify all of them that we've
I'm
spent that
fine
way?
if you, yeah, I'm fine if you open it up to that, but I'm unaware of fees that are going to outside attorneys.
Well, you've got Dean Saunders.
Yeah, so that's the only one that
Yeah.
would be.
That is coming out of ARPA.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that those funds are coming out of ARPA.
All of Dean is coming out of ARPA.
Yeah, those
Okay.
are.
Okay,
And so,
And
but
so you-
that's the only one I'm aware of. If you see any
Right, that's
more,
why I was
please
like-
let me know so I
Okay.
can
no, that was the one
rein
I
it
had.
in.
Okay.
Okay, I just know we were spending quite a bit, and I thought, well, okay, let's just look at that and determine whether or not that is part of is being spent out of this ARPA funds or not, because that's a backlog of issues, and that's using outside attorneys that we need to use right now.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the redesignation of ARPA funds, $40,000 in ARPA funds from code rewrite back to attorney and non-departmental as noted in the packet.
So it was 40,000.
He requested 40 total.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Chair, it is 5:37. Our next item has a public hearing. Do you want to go forward and just sit on the public hearing until it turns 6, or do you want to address any of items 6, 7, or 8?
Let's go
I
ahead.
think we could just jump to number 6. If everybody's good, just keep moving forward and we'll come back.
Okay.
So,
So this was a request to put on commission agenda on a discussion of whether to enter into membership with the Utah Tourism Industry Association. When I reached out to them, this was the flyer that they gave me of what's included in membership. I believe membership is $1,000 per annum.
That's correct. I also got a statement from the director. If I can find it here. Okay, and I'll just kind of read it to you. The Utah Tourism Industry Association, and this is just a synopsis of probably everything that we've read there, is the collective voice of Utah's tourism industry, representing hotels, attractions, tour operators, destination organizations, and the hospitality professionals who welcome visitors to our state. We advocate and educate to strengthen Utah's economy and quality of life by promoting tourism jobs, increasing visitor spending, and preserving the experiences that make our communities uniquely Utah. Through member-driven public policy, workforce and marketing programs, research and partnership initiatives, UTIA delivers tangible value to members and ensures our industry succeeds now and into the future. In addition, 25 of the 29 county destination marketing organizations in Utah are members of UTIA. The counties we're still hoping to see become members include Morgan, Duchesne, Paiute, and Sanpete. So that was the
So-
executive director.
Sounds cool. What exactly would they bring to our county? What?
Same thing they're doing now. They're bringing us money to the county. This year we got the co-op grant for $73,000 some odd, almost $74,000, and we have. They are promoting our county, and this would just add to that to increase and add more promotion to the whole destination. Because part of and I'll be explaining in commissioner comments unless you want me to now, and that is we have such a potential within our county with having us be a destination versus having us be people just stop by every single weekend and just go to the lakes on the weekends or whatever they do. It's something that we can bring people here to have an experience. And that experience could be in all different areas of our county, such as the beauty, visit the lakes, maybe stargazing, or maybe go and pet the animals, or the corn maze. Those kinds of things are destination oriented, where we want to try to bring them in. Part of the tourism department does anyway. We want to try to bring them in, work out some kind of an itinerary for them, and so that they can spend 2 days here or 3 days or whatever it might be. And that allows them to have an experience. And I'll tell you the experience later on that I had.
Do they work directly with our
Tourism.
tourism?
They work directly with the tourism.
Marketing and
The marketing, they help also, they've got a program where they help to train individuals, high schoolers, that want or have a desire to go into that kind of an industry. It gives them an opportunity to have a scholarship at some of the universities.
That's great.
So right now, I mean, you've been talking with these people. So with TTAB, we have Destination IQ, and we have all the kind of helping fund to bring tourism here. What above and beyond that, or how are they going to work with TTAB and that, or are we already, this is the first I've heard of them, these guys. How would they work with what we're already doing through Destination IQ and these other groups?
What they do is they will go and they actually not just have us, I mean, they'll have a list. I mean, when they go to outside this area to promote Utah, Life Elevated, Utah, they will go and talk to entities that are trying to bring about people into our county. And they'll not just include Salt Lake County into this, or Davis County, which is very, very high in it, and there's not, in my opinion, not a lot in Davis County for tourism, but for them to create something, it helps them and us, helps us create something within our county, whether it be through grants. They put us on the list of those people. They've had people, last week when I was at this conference, they had people from France there, and those people from France were talking about how the different experiences is what they're looking for people coming from their country to here and to visit. And some people want to come for tranquility, which is what we need to be and stay, is tranquil. A county, and not a county that is robust and busy and all that kind of stuff. Send them to the other side. And for this county, let's keep it the way we've got it and keep us rural by utilizing the assets that we have. And so they're putting us not just on the list, but they're promoting us as part of all the other counties in the state. And I mean, I've known about them for 4 years, and I really didn't know what they were. I just attended everything. And now I start to understand, okay, this is a kind of like a subscription, a membership. We need to be a part of the membership so that they can promote us along with the other counties.
I see.
Is there a time frame on this? I mean, is this you can sign up anytime, or is
You
it
can sign up
you need to
anytime.
sign up?
You can sign up at any
And
time.
the only reason I ask is because earlier you were concerned about the budget. If we're
Right.
concerned about the budget, should we wait to do this until we have our budget session and know
We
what we
can.
can?
We can.
Or is there, if
No.
there's urgency to sign up for it, let's talk about that. I just didn't know.
No, it's, we don't have to right now. I just
realize
know
it's
that
not a
there is some
tremendous amount of
funds
money.
within the fund balance of the tourism budget.
I'm assuming
that
you can use TRT to pay for this.
That's right. You can use TRT or TRCC for this. Actually, you can use TRCC. No, it's the other way around. TRT you can use for this, right?
Those monies are already budgeted, and I'd have to do a budget adjustment.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it. But if it's feasible, I would say do it. If not, don't until the next session, next session, next commission meeting, whatever it's called, or the following one. Doesn't really matter.
Do you follow Explore Morgan, Utah?
Do I follow it? Yeah, kinda. I just
So,
let
on
everybody
this-
else do it. I don't get on that kind of stuff,
As
so
a
I'm
member
sorry.
of the CEO board, what's her name that does this Explore Morgan?
Lindsay?
No,
Or
that's
Becky?
the, that's,
Explore Morgan, Utah is is through our,
It's our
It's
contract.
oh, you're
Yeah.
talking
Through the
about our
church.
Twitter feed,
Oh, that's through the social
Instagram.
media
That's
feed?
Becca.
That's Becca.
Becca.
Becca Nelson.
but the website is
Yeah.
through Destination IQ.
Destination IQ.
Who does that?
Okay. So I'm assuming they will like all work together.
Yes, they all work together with this. And so we can wait. I have no problems with waiting. It was just brought to my attention that we are one of the four that are not included in the state.
'Cause I know with like in our T-tab, they've got it broke down to where we can see how much we put out, what we've received, and it would be interesting to see what the $1,000 gets you. You know, and you know, sometimes you got to try it to see what it does.
Right.
And then if it doesn't, I mean, you know, and that was kind of my questions in the emails, like, well, what do we get? What do we? And then we saw this, or this was sent out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing I was looking for was there a
What
deadline?
do we get? No, there's not a deadline.
So that's good.
So, I mean, we can postpone it till a month from now after our budget session and see what we've got. And I'm fine with that.
We'd know then for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, $1,000 is a whole lot different than $44,000 or more.
Money's money.
As Craig said, we have a money machine somewhere. Okay, I'll look for, there's no other questions, comments?
I move to postpone it for a month.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So,
Chair, I could do 7 pretty fast, if that's
Okay.
okay with you.
Sounds
I need to postpone 144 and 146 because Alex is working on some reporting errors that he's found while helping me do that not TRT report, our impact fee report for the auditor. So he thought he might have that done tomorrow. So I need those to be on next agenda. So request to not do 7 Bravo and 7 Charlie. And then as for 7 Alpha, we created the opioid fund, but we didn't, my error, I didn't budget anything in the expense line. So I budgeted to move the money from GR into its own fund, but there was no budget adjustment to put money in the expense line to expend it out so I can pay for the radar signs. So that's this request.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the budget adjustment for the opioid expenditures, moving $100,000 into the expenditure line item.
I'll second it.
we have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
You know what, I should have probably thrown in that motion to postpone the other
Postpone.
two. Mr. Chair, I'll move that we postpone items 7B and 7C to the next meeting.
Second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
So do you want to move back to 5?
I think we could get 8 done.
Okay.
Can we get
sure.
it done real quick? And
Why not? I never know. I never know. So the commission this year passed the new format for renting the fairgrounds and the fees. And just like our old version, it specifically says that nothing waives the deposit. And that was the language from the original as well. However, there was an understanding with 4-H Extension and FFA that they did not have to pay the cleaning deposit, for when they use the grounds. So just clarification if they are exempt from having to pay the deposit.
Yeah, they reached out to me on this and I said, that needs to go before the commission because
Yeah.
we need to decide how we want to handle that.
My question is in that members of the board of the fairgrounds,
Fairgrounds Board.
wouldn't they have been aware, not saying I agree with it, but wouldn't they have been aware of the fact that we need to collect a deposit on that, even though, this is my opinion, the 4-H and the extension program. And the FFA, basically, they're an agricultural program. And the fair was centered around agriculture and has always been since the beginning of time, as far as my time. And I'm sure before my time, they're going to say the same thing. The only thing that came about later was the junior livestock program. But before that, it was always an agricultural feast. And so I would like to see, I mean, they cleaned the buildings, they cleaned the areas as a group, because I've been over there doing it. And I think that's a pretty good thing, and I don't think we should charge them. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, I agree, and just to clarify, so the FFA does not have a board seat on the fairgrounds board,
Oh, I thought
but
they
the
were-
extension office does, so they are involved in that.
Because the rodeo did.
Rodeo has a seat as
Seat.
well, yeah.
And that's where we need to go through that at a later date and see who really needs to be on that.
And then one more point of clarification, did you tell us you've been around since the beginning of time?
It's the beginning of my time. Yes, I've been around since the beginning of time, just
Sorry,
not
I
on
just
this
had to
earth.
tease you a little bit. No, I'm with you. Part of the problem too for these two organizations is it's not that they're unwilling to pay a deposit, it's that it's a huge hassle for them to pay the deposit because they have to go, from a school perspective, they got to go to the school and say, okay, I need a $2,000 check to make this deposit. We're going to get the money back, but I need to hold it. And it's just,
Ridiculous.
you guys know how it is. And so that's why they reached out and said, hey, is there any way that we can work this out so that we're not having to do this?
So they've never been charged a cleaning fee, and that's what they're used to.
Correct.
So it makes
Correct.
sense.
Are there any other groups outside of these two that, if the commission approves that amendment, that I need to change that wording on?
That's a good question. Probably the rodeo club as well,
That's right. Or
because
the-
now it's
horse
different
club.
when they're doing like more gala days, right? That's the high school rodeo club has done more gala days. I feel like that's a different thing because they're holding a major event there and they've been fine with paying the deposit and then getting that money back. But I think when you're talking about the rodeo club that's there on a weekly basis, like they don't rent the facility on a weekly basis from us, and it wouldn't make sense to charge them a deposit every week, just like we don't with 4-H.
Junior
They're
livestock.
Point
or
of
junior
clarification,
livestock.
is the rodeo club and the high school rodeo club two separate things?
No, they're actually the one and the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to
What
clarify.
about the junior livestock?
And junior livestock would be the same thing. We've never charged them any kind of deposit.
And plus, they've got a building there they're putting in.
Yeah.
So the possible amendment would be that FFA, 4-H extension, high school rodeo club exempting more gala days, and the junior livestock would be exempt from the fairgrounds deposit fee requirement.
Well, in the high school rodeo also has another rodeo coming up, so it's not just more gala days.
So-
So they do host.
I don't know how they've handled
How
that
would
one
you
in the
do
past.
That I don't know. I was just,
I know that.
I mean,
they
more
have-
gala days they put on as a fundraiser for them. It's not their rodeo. In the past, we've never, to my knowledge, charged a deposit on their rodeo.
This meanie's
Right.
been here.
Well, I just know that the horse people, horse clubs, that use it basically 4 days a week throughout the summer, we don't charge them. And if they're going to have a rodeo at the end of it, I mean, actually, they come here sometimes for region contests, and we don't charge them. It was built for them.
So exempting events,
For those groups.
For those groups, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, I would
Maybe
hope
that's
that
the
they
way to
would
phrase it.
under, what do you call the word? Responsibility, that they would clean up. And if they didn't,
They
then we
always,
ought
I
to-
mean, those groups are the ones that participate in the spring cleanup day
fall
every
cleanup.
year. Like,
Yeah.
they are the groups that have taken responsibility for that.
And so for that
Kimberly,
reason,
do you
I would
have a
say-
comment?
should she come up to the microphone? Come, yeah.
So we have it on the record. Thank you.
So for more gala days, the high school rodeo club did put their deposit down. They just write a check and then we shred the check if everything checks out. For the high school rodeo that the rodeo club puts on, they did the same thing. They put a deposit down with a check. Another one to consider that's on that list is the Lions Club, but they partner to do the truck pulls. So the Lions Club helped sponsor that, and they did the same thing. They just put a check down, and then we shredded the check if everything checked out at the end.
So what is it, your recommendation as county treasurer, that we still do that for the events, but just the day-to-day?
For the major events.
Okay.
Just hold a check, and then if it checks out, shred the check.
Yes. And we tried to do that with FFA, but it was too hard for them to get a check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they gave me credit card information for any charges that needed to be paid, which we haven't charged them anything, so.
I
Because
think that's
last
what
year,
brought this up. And maybe saying events is, I think there's a difference between like an FFA event where they have a regional conference, right? And all the members come and spend a day or a night, and an event where you're charging the public to enter, right? To me, those are very different things.
that's right, that's
They're
right.
different uses on our facility too. And so I don't know how we differentiate the two, but that's what I would like to see is we say, hey, if you're going to have an event where the public's going to come, you're going to charge them to use, to come and see whatever you're doing, whether it's truck pulls or rodeo, you need to pay the deposit.
That's right.
But if it's an event where you're coming as a nonprofit to do your activity, you're not bringing in near as many people. First of all, you're not going to have thousands show up. You're going to have a couple hundred FFA kids or, a few dozen 4-H kids. Then to me, that's a different story. So
Okay.
I think that's how we need to differentiate it.
Yep, I think I could find,
Profit event or something like that.
we
Yeah, I
can-
mean, is it a
we'll do
paid
paid
public
event.
event, or is it because
Instead of
the same could
leadership
be said
event.
of like these running events and stuff that use our facility. Like they're charging people to come here. I don't think it's fair for them to make money off of our facility without spending, and being part of it. But I also think that we should support those programs that are, FFA, 4-H,
Yeah, and
livestock.
and I know within the 4-H, the FFA, when I was there, that was one of the leadership qualities. We had to take care of, and we had to teach them responsibility. I mean, you use a facility, you take care of that responsibility, and you try to make it to where it's as good as it was when you left. And, it's the
Well, and
old-
every year for the
Yeah,
last several
Forest
years that
Service,
they've done
they tread
the
lightly.
regional FFA thing here, they do a leadership conference in the summer. And every year they ask us, what can we do as a service project? So like, I think last year they cleaned out the hamburger stand booth really good. We had them do some painting one year, so they're doing stuff while they're there too, which is also
Service
very
things.
different than just the public coming and using the facility and going home.
Right.
So a thing on that too, with the high school rodeo club, when they put their actual rodeo on, they don't pay for like admission. There's the entry fees, which part of that goes back to like the rodeo association. I don't know if it's the high school. I think it's all part of that, the high school. But so they don't actually charge for like to get into that event. So that might be something you might look at, kind of the same as the FFA.
Yeah, I would agree. If it's not we're charging you to enter this event, to come to this event, I think it ought to be exempted.
Well,
But
it could
maybe-
still be
I don't
pretty
know.
big.
that's a lot
though.
of wear
That's
and
a lot of
tear on my
people.
building.
I mean, maybe the deposit is still fine.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have too big of a problem with that deposit situation.
Especially where it's just.
And
it
if they
sounds like the
do,
biggest
they
problem
have
is the
every
extension.
right to come before the commission and
That's
ask
the
a waiver.
Extension of FST.
This doesn't exempt anyone from coming before a commission and asking for a waiver.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in.
No, I
just
love
thought
it.
you might
That's
have
great.
wanted-
I think it's good information.
So.
Good
you.
information, thanks.
Okay, so I'll try to make a motion. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve an adjustment to the fairgrounds rental agreement that will clarify to allow 4-H extension, FFA, junior livestock, and high school rodeo. Well, Lions Club does a paid event. If they want to use it for like the Easter egg hunt, though, I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
to use the facility without a deposit for non-public paid events.
I'll second it. That, doesn't need an amendment.
Are we clarifying like how, like some of the rodeos could bring in a lot of people even though it's not paid?
I'm gonna
Yeah, we're
write
gonna
it
have to
and
write
bring
it
it
up and-
forth in probably consent agenda unless you want it on action item.
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
so maybe part of my motion is let's bring it back as a written update, and then we can
Okay.
approve the final written update.
I'll still second that.
Okay, so I've got a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Josh, it's now after 6. Or Jeremy's doing this one. Okay.
It's like 6 on the dot. That's good
Yeah,
timing.
that was perfect timing.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and good evening to the members of the County Commission. Action item F7 is the ranch rezone, which is application number 25.020. The applicant being present in the audience tonight, Mr. Vice Chair. The location of the project is 2272 West Chris Lane. And the current zoning of the property is a split designation of rural residential 5-acre minimum, abbreviated RR5, and agriculture, 20-acre minimum, abbreviated A20. And the general plan designates a similar split with ranch residential 5 and agriculture as depicted on the future land use map. And the request for tonight, Mr. Vice Chair, is to rezone property from agriculture to rural residential 5 and reflect that change on the future land use map from a split designation of agriculture and ranch residential 5 to ranch residential 5 completely. The staff, having done a review on this item, brought it to the Planning Commission on July 17th. There were no comments made during the public hearing portion of that meeting. The discussion from the Planning Commission included questions about current and future access, there being an access easement from the end of the cul-de-sac of West Chris Lane to give the property current access. The question came up of, if it was rezoned and approved for RR5, would that change? The answer is yes. The applicant would have to come up with another way to provide access to the property, which in a statement made by the applicant in the Planning Commission meeting said they wanted to extend a private lane through the Elquist Estates, the abutting subdivision, Mr. Vice Chair. If the commission finds merit in a rezone tonight, the following findings could be used to support a decision for approval. 1, that the proposed amendment is consistent with the county's future land use goals and objectives and aligns with the future land use map, which designates a significant portion of the property as ranch residential 5. 2, that the property amendment is in harmony with existing land uses in the area, there being RR5 close by on other properties. 3, that the rezone will not adversely impact the adjacent properties, many of which are smaller than 20 acres. And 4, that the property amendment is consistent with surrounding property sizes and zoning. Mr. Vice Chair, Josh and I are available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
So to access it, you're going in that cul-de-sac by,
It's barely visible in the bottom portion
2261?
of that picture. Mhm.
So access typically isn't a major concern for rezoning. First, we look at consistency with the general plan. The second is we look at lot sizes surrounding, and we look at surrounding zoning. And if it's consistent with those, staff would typically recommend approval regardless of access, because if the property is subdivided in the future based on that zoning, the applicant for that subdivision would be required to provide the required access to provide frontage for each lot that they create. As far as the existing subdivision, I don't have control, so I can't point it out, but there's a small circle that looks like a cul-de-sac due south from that white star on that map you can see.
right?
That, there's an access easement that serves a 20-acre parcel. The applicant has indicated that when they do submit the subdivision application, they will be putting in a private lane that would provide both frontage and access, and it would be constructed to the county standard.
So on the other map, behind it, is that on the Google photo map? Is that a
That's the
different
zone.
development?
No, go up to that right, nope,
The vicinity map?
that's down. Nope.
Grief. This one, yeah, this one.
Down, up, down.
That's
Right there. That's the future land use map. If you go down to the next map, that's the zoning map.
Are you talking about that strange triangle? looking
Yeah, is
thing?
that a development?
That's the canal.
That's the canal.
That's where it comes out of the river,
Okay.
and it does a weird movement there.
Kind of slow it all down.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I do have a question. This is kind of just a general future land use map kind of question.
Could you go to the map above, please? Thank you.
So if you look at the future land use map, so we've got kind of up on the bench on the left where it's brown, that's our RR5, correct?
Correct.
Then where
Sorry.
it drops down into the green, that's the A20.
Correct.
So, and it just kind of in the last 6 months of that, just watching rezones and that, I find it kind of weird that we ask for a rezone at the same time we ask to amend the map. Would it make sense to amend the map before we ask for the rezones, or that's just me thinking, process out like to change the map, I would think would make sense to do that first and then come back, okay, we've amended the map now.
Yeah, changing the future land use map is technically not required
Because it's just
because
a recommendation.
general plan is just a vision of what could be in the future. It's not a mandated general plan. If it was a mandated general plan, you would be required to follow it to the letter, and all rezonings would be administrative. There would be no legislative process. But ours is not a mandated general plan. It's discretionary, which means that you, the county commission, has the approval to amend the map and rezone property that may or may not be consistent with the general plan. You can base it on growth patterns in the area. You can, if you feel that a certain area should be developed to greater densities, regardless of what's shown on the general plan, you can rezone property accordingly. You have that power as a legislative body with a discretionary general plan.
So I guess my question is, like, if we wanted to, and I understand that the future land use map is just out there, right? It was kind of created by the areas and by the people, and says this is kind of what we'd like to see, how we'd like to see it grow. I guess my question is, if we're rezoning and we want to alter a map that really is just discretionary, then I guess I'm confused by,
So
if
I
it's
was-
a discretionary map, and we're asking to amend a map that really doesn't seem to matter, then why are we asking to amend the map that doesn't matter?
I was directed within the first 6 months of my employment here that any rezoning that was not consistent with the general plan, I would be required to bring forward a future land use map amendment at the same time.
Okay, so
There was an
at the same time.
application that I didn't do that, and I was told don't do that again.
I see.
I can
And that's
answer the
where-
rationale behind that if it helps. So
Yep.
the rationale is we don't want the zoning map to show a different density than the future land use map in terms of, so if your future land use map, if you left it alone, it's going to end up looking very different than the zoning map. And so the intention was to say, okay, well, if we agree to rezone this, then let's change the future land use map at the same time to reflect what the current zoning is. Should that be I won't call it a downgrade, increase in density typically is what it is, right? But that's why we've kind of taken that approach, is so that it stays consistent, looks consistent, so that somebody doesn't come and look at the future land use map down the road and say, well, wait a minute, this says this is still supposed to be A20 and you've got it now as RR5. Well, by then the decision's already been made, it's RR5, right?
Yeah, okay. No, I was just curious, like, because I just look at it like if we're going off the map, we would do that prior to actually doing the rezone, but, okay. I was just kind of trying to figure out the process of why we do it at the same time versus do the map, then do the rezone. So that was just kind of my general, when this one came up and I was, you know, every 2 weeks, it seems like you learn a whole lot more and say, okay, I've got more questions. And so, okay.
Well, and I do think with the change in the update of the general plan that we're doing now, that's what you're going to see in the future more, is because we're going to go through and update the general plan, and there may be some brush strokes that we take here as part of that map that says, hey, in the future, this area might be RR5, right? So the future land use map then is already changed, and when somebody comes in and requests a rezone, we can say, does it fit with that? Yes or no. But there also still has to be that mechanism to make a change down the road, because the future land use map is a snapshot in time. You know, 10 years ago, somebody thought this is what it should look like. And some of those lines are drawn, you know, kind of arbitrarily. I mean, you can see they drew a line not on the property line, but on a ditch line instead.
Right, on the hill.
Which is fine, right? But it's not, doesn't follow a property line. So if you own the property and want to do something with the property, now all of a sudden you got split zoning because that's where it was drawn. Anyway.
I have some questions for you. Wasn't this part of another rezone that we just did within the last year?
No. This
Those
property.
other sites, those other 5-acre sites are RR5, because I vividly remember, and I'll turn around here. Through here, into that area, and this piece was part of that when we rezoned.
Yeah,
So
I was not
he
here when
did
that
there.
rezoned, so
You may have been sick or not here, but that one was done just within the last year.
that's
I don't know
incorrect.
how to go and
I think you're
search.
talking about the Rendelsbach subdivision.
That was 2.5 years ago. I was only here about 6 months, and he was doing a subdivision at the same time. But when I looked at it, I thought you really need to rezone this so that the lots followed the size that he was proposing. So back in 2022, early 2023, the Rendelsbach subdivision went through a rezone to align the property lines with what he was proposing. The property you pointed out has not been rezoned since I've been here.
Okay, it was to do with this piece back here, this 21 acres. Back there at that time, this is my recollection, this one was going to stay agriculture. They wanted to keep it in agricultural zone. Now, what they want to do now, I don't know, doesn't matter. I don't have a say in that. I'm just getting tired of the fact that we come in and we do a rezone, and then we do another rezone, and then we do another rezone, and before long, we're gonna have 1 acre lots down there.
Hey, property owners change hands, and property owners have a right to apply for a rezone. You, as the county commission, have the right to approve or deny.
That's right, and I have the right to deny.
Yeah, no,
Five-
you're one of
making this-
5.
Yeah, I know, I'm
You
one of
have the
5.
right to vote to deny,
That's right.
but the commission in general has the power to approve or
And
deny.
and I don't, and I've always been, hey, every property owner has the right to request.
That's
That
right.
doesn't mean it must be granted, but I mean, every property owner has the right to request. You know, my family, for instance, they're looking at doing it. Everybody has the right to request, but it's whether or not we feel that it fits within the area plans, general plans, you know. And I've had several phone calls on this piece of property, you know. So
Oh, well,
I know. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
yeah, that's okay.
If you had more-
I'm just looking at these. I mean, yes, and this time I am older than all the rest of you, okay?
You already said that.
I know, and I've been here since the beginning of my time. Okay? And I saw an area that was designed as 5-acre lots, and it wasn't our county, but it was another county, and they were designed as 5-acre lots, and then eventually it turned into 1 acre. And the mountainside is now covered in homes. And before it was still pretty and it was nice and it was what the atmosphere is what we want to try to have in this county. And yet all of a sudden here we want to make it to 5-acre lots. Another year or 2 or 3 or 4, they find another use and they want to make it down into a 2-acre lot because we can do that now. Or a 3-acre, I don't remember which one.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5-acre lots. So when we bring it down to that point, then we've got homes scattered all over this county again. I'm trying to keep it rural. Now, if we take that out, just because people want to come in here and then they want to go and they don't want to take care of 5 acres and they want,
I think
where's
it's
it going to stop?
I think it's a logical fallacy to think that just because you have 20 acres, you're going to get 4 lots out of it. It's not how density works. You take the total acreage, you multiply it by approximately 25 to 35%, and that gives you the amount that's going to be pulled out for infrastructure. They have to put in a street to divide it. There's wetlands there. There's probably soils. They'll get maybe 2 lots out of it, but you're not going to get 4. And this idea that you can stop any development whatsoever is another logical fallacy. You have grandkids, you have kids. There's people all throughout this community that have kids, and because of the values right now and the size of the properties, their kids will never get to live here unless you find a way to get the affordable housing that this county needs. And if you divide it into 1 acres, you're still not going to have the affordable housing. There's other ways to do. You have to do it other ways because that's not affordable either.
Well, I can agree with that. I'm just looking at the agricultural aspect of this county. It's going straight to hell.
So in my mind, this rezone fits with the other ranch residential 5 zoning. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe 2 lots. That could bring in 2 new great families into our community. That could add a lot. So I have no problem with it. I grew up in a valley that it was 5 acres at the minimum, nothing else. And let me tell you, it was population 312, and now it's like 300 because no one can afford to live there and everyone's dying off.
That's right. I agree with you. And it's going to be that way throughout the rest
None
of
of
my life.
me and my 10 siblings are living out there because you can't.
Let's just rezone the whole county to 5 acre lots and see what happens.
I want a 5 acre lot. Mine's only 0.7.
Nobody can afford it. Nobody can afford a 5 acre lot. What we need is some, I hate to say it, clustering of some homes in 2.5 acre lots or less. And then leaving the rest in open space. And I know there's a lot of disagreement in that, but that's how the Conwoods
need
came
open
about.
space.
That's how, a lot of these came about because they clustered all the homes and they left the rest of it open. And let's hope we keep it open. But I'm afraid we're not.
Well, and a lot of that happened prior to zoning too. I mean, you look at my grandpa's place, you got 5 houses down there at the bottom, and then you got, a total of 1,500 acres. But that was all prior to zoning too. So now I don't think there's any right, wrong. I mean, we all have opinions, we all have thoughts and are passionate about things, but I mean, when we look at this, I mean, I don't know, Commissioner Newton, did you want to go at all?
No, I mean, I think when you're doing a rezone, when you're doing a future land use map amendment, you have to look at the surrounding area. You have to think about, the impacts on the surrounding area. To me, this particular parcel, when I look at it, it's bordered on one side by RR5. On the other side, it's bordered by a piece of parcel that will never change because it's where the canal comes. So you're not going to have homes built behind it because you can't. And in front of it, right now it's zoned RR5, which is less dense than against the highway, which is RR1. Good planning practice, you go from more dense to less dense. So RR5 is a buffer zone. RR1 technically is a buffer zone. And then you move out from there. The truth is A20 is, although it's less dense in terms of number of homes, it's actually more intense in terms of usage of the property. I mean, we all know that farms and rock quarries and whatever, which are allowed in A20, are noisy and dusty and dirty and intensive use, right? That intensive use may only be during certain times of the year, but in truth, they are intensive. To me, when we get somebody requesting RR5, RR10, A20 zoning, all of those are pretty big wins in a lot of cases, rather than, hey, we want R120 zoning and we want to put 1/4 acre lots here and we want to put 200 townhomes, right? Instead, we want to do some larger lots. And I agree, in terms of affordability, yes, 5 acres isn't affordable anymore in this county, unfortunately. Frankly, neither is 1 acre, or even a half acre, or even a quarter acre, or even a townhome. They're not affordable in this county anymore, and that's unfortunate because, you know, but hey, every one of us is here as a result of development. Whether that development occurred 10 years ago or 100 years ago, we're here as a result of that. So I don't subscribe to the notion that we can lock up the gate, because I don't know who's the last person through the gate. Because there's a lot of great people that have moved here in the last 6 months, and there's a lot of great people that moved here in the last 60 years. So I guess that's my thought. I think this one makes sense. When I look at it from a global perspective, we're not talking about adding 200 homes behind a bunch of other homes. We're talking about something that makes a lot more sense. Now, to the notion that, hey, in the future, is somebody going to come in and ask for a rezone of a piece of property that we already rezoned? Yeah, probably, because things change. You know, I mean, we made a change in saying you can have accessory dwellings on your lot. That essentially allowed people to put a second dwelling in a lot of cases that they didn't have before, and that changes the county, hopefully for the better, but nothing's perfect, you know. So anyway, that's my thought on it. This one makes sense to me, and I would support it.
If I could add, the applicant is in the audience if you have questions for them as well.
I'll just finish with my comments real quick. I'm very much in favor of following area plans. I've said that in other meetings prior to becoming on the commission. You know, this was set up. I know that we just did a kind of in the midst of the Milton area plan right now, trying to get them to come in and finalize that with the commission. And I like to follow the area plans. I like to respect the people that have put that together and their opinions, and take that into account when we're doing this. And I hear Commissioner Newton and the others, and respect opinions and that. But I'm a firm believer in try to stick to our area plans that the people have put together, and try to follow those to the best of our ability. Obviously, things change, and you know, we can make those changes as we wish as the legislative body. But I'm a firm believer of the area plans and trying to follow those. So with that, does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
It answers some of my concerns.
So would you like to ask him some questions? Sure. Okay. Could you state your name?
Yeah, my name is Steve Wynn, and Tucker Jensen is my brother-in-law. We're both in this property together.
Thank you.
So my question was this part of another rezone?
A part of the rental box rezone, but not of the one you showed.
Okay, so that was not part of the rezone, because I vividly remember that you did not rezone it because you wanted to keep it agricultural.
We didn't own it at that time.
Oh, you've owned it since, okay.
Yeah, we just purchased this property, and I can kind of show you a little bit about what we're trying to do here, if
Okay,
you'd like.
go ahead.
So this, and, well, this was part of the rental box rezone. This home that you pointed to over here is actually my mother-in-law and Tucker's mom.
Okay.
I guess his dad owns it too.
Okay.
We're actually trying to put 2 homes on there. Okay.
On that 21 acres.
Yep, and we're actually trying to use your guys' code to landlock us for future use. Okay? Right now, you have a code that says you can only have 4 lots on a private lane, and our intention is to use their lane to continue back to here access to our property with a private lane, not a street. So again, we're trying to use your guys' code to landlock us because we're underneath a very similar thought of we don't want any more homes back here. And so all we're trying to do is we're trying to get 2 homes back here, but the buildable area we fill up here doesn't suffice to put 2 homes. So we have to change this back here so that we can split this up into 2 areas where we can build homes. So again, we're trying to landlock ourselves by building a private lane back to here. But this is my mother-in-law's. So they rezoned 7-ish years ago, I believe. Because this was their home and they took that off, sold that, and put a retirement home back here. So that's the last time this position has been rezoned.
So there is an availability of that lane, or where the area I showed then. There is a potential of you going back there, through there with a private lane,
Right.
to be able to follow our code, to be able to get back there and build 2 homes.
Correct. Yep. And we've discussed this at length with these guys, and there's already a farm road back here, a lane that goes back here, and we would meet the county code, what that private lane needs to be, the width, the way it's built and everything. We just want 2 homes because this is non-buildable. It's just not.
I know
Right.
you're gonna be building
We need to
up.
put 2 homes up here, if we can put 2 homes. So that's our intention.
So why not an R10? R10? Is it because of codes? I mean, Josh, you'd have to tell that, because I don't.
Well, we know a little bit about that. Go ahead.
I brought that up as a suggestion. They had mentioned that they were thinking of creating a parcel for open space in the back along the river.
So our intention again is to create a lot here and a lot here and leave this as open land. Okay, we just need enough room to put our houses on there. RR10 does require a little bit more frontage than R5. And with the little bit of flat area we have up here, we're just trying to get less frontage.
Okay. Now it makes a little more
Frontage
sense.
for RR5 is 250, and frontage for RR10, I believe, is 300. So there's
I believe
quite
it's
a
330, but
820 is 330.
okay.
I don't think they're the same. They might be, but I'm fairly certain it's about 300. There is a sizable difference.
So strictly for the frontage, because we have so little room up on the flat area.
Okay.
But that's our intention.
Okay.
And we just purchased this, so we weren't part of the Rendelbach rezone.
Okay.
And he didn't have more access. I believe he would have tried to split this up in as many lots as he wants.
Yeah, I know. He wouldn't.
But he didn't have the access. We have a different access point, and again, we're trying to use your code against us for what we want.
Okay.
And you want these for your own personal
Correct.
homes?
We currently live in Morgan. We want to move over there. We want more space like you do. So we're trying to stay.
Okay.
Nice.
Any other questions?
No, I appreciate the explanation.
Sure, yeah, you're welcome to.
Tucker Jensen. As Steve said, I grew up. We moved here in '94 to a home right here.
Okay.
Every day, I used to walk dogs and take BB guns and go down here along the river. Not my property.
We all could do that in the old days.
Yes. Ken decides to buy this, and my heart's broken. I want this property. 12, 20, I don't know, 20 something years goes by. Ken says, I'm developing. And I says, why do you want to develop? We know Ken. He promises me this lot and then tells me he's already sold it. Okay? I forget about it. He calls me back and says they backed out. Here's the price tag. Again, I went, not affordable. Great. Now my dreams are shattered again. I asked my brother-in-law, should we go in and purchase this together? Affordability. This is the only reason the only way we can do it is, is going in it together. I live in Milton right now, so I understand.
Oh, I know right where you live. Yeah,
Okay.
I know you.
The area map, it's people in Milton. That's their Bible. I don't want if you look at Milton and you go down, you will see how many homes have been built down on Morgan Valley Drive.
I know, much.
I've lived in Milton since I was 14, and I can tell you maybe 5, 6 homes in the amount of time that I've, so Milton is protected. And we can do one home right now. And it's back. The staff or the planning commission, nobody opposed. Not one person made a, you know, most of the thing was how you going to access it. We cleared that up with them. Chance McMillan lives right down the street. Would he be afraid that Stoddard's going to start creeping 5 acres? He didn't oppose it because he knows that it makes sense. And I'm for making sense, like making planning make sense. And so if there's any concern, please just, how can I help you? Blaine, how can I help you?
Do what you've promised.
And that's exactly, I'm not going anywhere. I love Morgan, and my kids love Morgan, and we're just trying to, keep my kids in Morgan.
Okay.
But anyway,
Thank you for the explanation.
I love your passion and the memories you have there, and you want your kids to be there and create some of the same memories you had.
Any other questions? No. I look for a motion to move into public hearing.
I move that we open the public hearing.
A second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are now in public hearing.
Tina Kelly, Mountain Green. Very lively discussion. I don't have a dog in this battle, but I've been listening to your discussion. Your general plan, Appendix A, pages 33 and 34, talks about the Milton Area Plan, which I think you would all want to read before you go making a decision. And it says, this area is intended to develop as the Milton Village Center at no less than approximately 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres of land pursuant to county ordinances. So it's completely within the area plan, which is a part of your general plan. And that's what I've always encouraged you to follow. Area plans change, and when they change, that's great. This fits it, so I just wanted to add that. Those 2 pages might help you make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, I'll look for a motion.
Move to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the public meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are
Mr.
now.
Chair, I move that we approve ordinance CO-25-16, the ranch rezone application number 25.020, changing 21.64 acres from A20 to rural residential RR5, and reflect that change on the future land use map.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I am a nay. Motion passes 3-1. Okay.
That's the rest of the action items on the agenda. There was some discussion about closed session for acquisition, something.
Acquisition of property.
So we would make that motion.
Okay. Well, we can't yet. We need to go through commissioner comments
Oh.
and stuff.
Commissioner comments. Pulling up page 2. Hold on. Okay, who's first?
I think I
Commissioner
am.
Blocker. Yep.
Okay. Well, it was a very busy week. We had an RPO meeting. And we discussed the Wasatch Choice Vision Center, Employment Neighborhood Center. We discussed a lot of stuff, but so went to that, and then we had USAC Central Assessed Tax Training, and then I had the YCC board meeting, and this I thought was really awesome. So they had their golf tournament fundraiser last week, and this year they raised $92,000, which is their highest ever. The hearts of the people are so amazing because grants have been cut this year, so budget has been really hard for the YCC. So just to see the people give like that, it's pretty amazing. So I would love for the commission next year to sponsor a 4-year team for that fundraiser. And then I got to go to the Utah Bicycle Summit, which was very interesting, and it made me start to rethink our thoughts on the Mountain Green Town Center. They talked a lot about Strodes, which is a road with a lot of conflict going on. And they actually went opposite of what we want. Like, we wanted all of our commercial gathered into one big cluster. They're saying if you're thinking in the future, that causes a lot of Strodes and a lot of traffic. They actually recommend having different centers spread throughout and having different access roads, because instead of just that one road, that way you're dispersing traffic in different areas if you're thinking like 20, 30 years down the road. So that got me thinking a little different way, but we'll have to see what the plans come back from our developers.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then we had a Weber Health board meeting. And yesterday we had a Wasatch Peaks tour with the COG and Ed. It looks beautiful up there. I don't know if you guys been up there lately, but their village center is all done and looks amazing. So there you go.
I don't know that I have much right now.
Commissioner Fackrell?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I attended a tourism workshop on agritourism and astrotourism. And I'm rethinking a little bit because I've always been for agritourism. And we're going to need to get some help from the state government on liability issues. And we have liability waivers and stuff that we can get for the farmers. But if we charge, then it changes things. And even if that's the case, we have to look at different aspects of liability. And I mean, I was all for agritourism, I still am. But there's some things we're going to have to work through. And so that's going to be a longer process than the next few months. But astrotourism is a different thing, and this is part of the experience as to when you bring somebody into this county, what kind of an experience are you going to give them? And here I am down in Cedar City, and what is there in Cedar City? You've got the desert on one side, and you got the mountains on the other side, and you got Cedar Breaks and a few other things up there. Those can be great for viewing, but they took us on out to an area near the Three Peaks recreation area, and they actually had an astrotourism event experience. That they took us to 3 different areas, and it's an event that, I mean, they point out the different things in the sky, even with lighting, and so of course a lot of it has to do with lighting. And where we're already in an international dark skies at East Canyon, we're also a dark skies designation in Morgan County. They took us out there and they showed us the different things and an experience that you can actually have. And so this is a part that I want to work with on the TTAB and see if we can try to get something such as that going on. And that was more for destination, where people would actually pay to come and look at the stars from a different perspective and without lights in the horizons and without them in even the vicinity, even though we have a big glow going over the Salt Lake Mountains. Yeah. And Bountiful Davis County, we see that big glow, but in certain particular spots, up at East Canyon Reservoir is one, and up in Croydon's another, depending on where you're at. If you go up to Lost Creek Reservoir, in reality, that doesn't, I mean, yes, it's dark skies. Trust me, it's dark up there. Mike knows that. But the thing about the astrotourism is you have to get it to where it can't be in a canyon. You have to have an open area to be able to visualize and see the stars. And then what they do is they go into, in this experience, they would go in and try to explain what caused the different pioneers or the Indians or the ancient people as to what they saw and what it was, and a vision of what was there on that particular day and what guided them at night. And so those are the different things, and it was a great experience. We had one guy that was there from, anyway, part of the experience is he talked about different stories. So you make it into a story, you make it into an experience to where you want to go back to it, or you want to try to have that kind of event. And so I'll be working with the TTAB on something along that line and seeing what we can do to bring about people into the county that want to visit and have an experience here, whether it be at Von Nickerson's place, back in the back. Yeah, it's be an experience, that's for sure. Or at my place, an experience, or Mike Newton's, back in the back by the river, where he wants to put a campground. Those kinds of things, an experience. And that's some of the things that we need to do, is looking into experiences where people can come and experience a unforgettable time. And for me, it was an unforgettable time. But anyway, along with the agribusiness, pass this down to everybody. Okay. So these here are part of agritourism, where they actually, you will see it. Agritourism, and they basically take this ear of corn and they've turned their farm into popcorn. And so they take this, and I tried one at home, and you put it in a bag and put it in your microwave, and it's fun for the kids to watch it pop and to see what happens with this one corn. And that gave us a pretty good sized bag for one ear of corn. And so this was one thing within tourism that we were able to, agritourism, that was neat to see. And this is by a place down here in just the other side of the mountain, Davis County. And so those are some of the tourism experiences that you can get. And we have it here. Mike Higbee was one of the presenters down there, and he was talking about his honey bee business and the honey, and where he's going to try to also be at the One Utah Summit coming up in October, and hopefully win. I hope he does. And so those are kind of just some of the things I learned in the last few days. And then I had another visit with Tiara Oxier, our representative, and Joel Ferry, and Senator Milner, and Kerry Gibson. We met with Joel to try to get the understanding as to what the property is up at East Canyon and what it was purchased for. And so Joel remembered all of it, and he says, I thought that's what you were doing, or what we were doing with the property. He said, we told him no, DWR wants to take it all. And so we're working with them, and he's going to be working with us also on trying to get this thing figured out, so that our next meeting that comes up next week, we'll be able to have a better idea as to what's going on with the East Canyon property. So, and potentially other properties. Okay. And I think that's about it for now.
Thanks for this. It'll be fun.
Just cook it like a regular popcorn.
So I had a meeting with, myself and Kate and Farm Bureau and Kerry Gibson, discussed quite a few things. One is we talked about the APAs, agricultural protection areas, kind of the importance. I know Josh brought up in our last commission meeting that we don't have any in the county. And talking about maybe getting some sessions out there for the public to come and hear what they are and the benefits to them, and maybe it works for them, maybe it doesn't. But options. Also, we brought up the issue with the donating of meat to the different food banks, where if they're not USDA inspected, that the food bank can't take them. And unfortunately, Bingham's is not USDA; they are state inspected. So, had that conversation with Farm Bureau. They were going to look into that because it is in state code that they require it to be USDA. Also talked to Representative Auxier, and got her on that, and just kind of see what our options are to try to. That's kind of a big need is meat at our local food pantry, and that we have a stumbling block that our state has put in our way, and is that something that they're willing to kind of get out of the way. Still haven't state inspected, those kind of things. So we had a really good meeting with Farm Bureau, and then also some discussions about, are there areas in our code that are hindering our agriculture, like demo permits on old barns? Do we really need to go get a demo permit? Now, I've spoken with Josh, and his big thing is if they're going to tear a barn down or something, well, why keep paying taxes on it? So we want the assessor to know, but do we have to go through the whole thing of, just as if you were going to tear down a house for an old barn or an old chicken coop or mink sheds or whatever? Just, are there any hindrances in our code for our ag producers? And so they were willing to kind of look through that and see if there's any issues that they can see. We talked about fence in, fence out, and just kind of, their thoughts and that. And so they've heard from a few of the different producers here in the county, and we're going to kind of put some things together for us as far as what they've heard, what they've seen, and what could maybe be beneficial for us. But that was probably the biggest meeting that I had in the last 2 weeks was with Farm Bureau and those guys. So that's kind of my report.
May I add one more thing to
Sure.
that? When we were down there with Joel Ferry and Ann Milner, we discussed that also, the food bank thing. So it is on the docket for maybe possibly this year.
Excellent.
And they did explain that the reason Bingham's is not USDA'd is because he will also do game.
Right.
That's the only thing, because
right.
he'll do deer and elk. That is why. So it's not because he's not
He's not sanitary.
nationally
That's
ranked.
He's still,
most
He
butchers
is.
around here.
So
he's still state inspected, not just not USDA inspected.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Thanks for that clarification, so people know. And Bingham's does a great job. I mean, I think everybody, I'm glad they have sandwiches again. We
Yes,
stopped in
me
and got
too.
their sandwiches. So they were,
thank you to our Community and Economic Opportunity Board for
That's right.
make that happen.
yeah.
And I agree with that.
Anything else? Yes. Yeah, just make sure all our comments are covered. So, motion to move into closed.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or disposition of real property.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maybe take a 5-minute?
Aye. Yeah, let's do, that's a great idea. Let's take 5 minutes. We'll come back.